Do you have time today, or would you prefer tomorrow? Tomorrow, perfect. Hey, do you have time in the morning or afternoon? In the afternoon? Great. Do you prefer 5 or 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock, make sure to note it in your calendar. This is really important because look, I'm going to talk about a colleague who's great at sales these days, but we'll call him Manuelito. Let's call him Manuelito. Manuelito used to read from a script, which is what we often want to do. He'd read a script and bam, do exactly the same thing. So the script would say, do you prefer morning or afternoon? 5 or 6 o'clock? He'd call someone and they'd say 6 o'clock. He'd call the next person and Manuelito would say, do you prefer morning or afternoon, 5 or 6 o'clock? And again, they'd schedule you. And mind you, I'm not saying that you could do this when you want to organize a webinar, a masterclass, something where you want to gather, where your goal is to get many people at the same time. But if that's not your purpose, you need to be extremely careful about it. Manuelito, if you noticed, he was scheduling many people because he wasn't scheduling like a professional. He was just calling and calling and calling. And remember something, people will feel your energy. When you have an energy that's just about setting appointments, well, setting appointments, you probably won't set any. The goal here is to find and secure that appointment, but to have a space where you can provide value to people. Provide value. Remember, prospects, before they are prospects, are human beings. It's super important that your focus is always on providing value. And you'll provide much better value if you have a scheduled appointment where you might say, hey, I'd like to meet with you for 40 minutes, 60 minutes, or 45 minutes. Do you have time tomorrow, or would you prefer the day after? Do you have time in the morning or in the afternoon? 5, 6, 6, perfect. And that's from 6 to 6:45. It's a time slot that you're going to use to deliver the best value to the person. For this, at the end, after they say, yes, 6:45 is perfect, there's a crucial point, which is point number 7. It's very important. Thank them and confirm the commitment. We humans tend to have a lot of issues with verbal agreements. Keeping our word when it comes to verbal agreements. We get invited to a party and they say 9, but we show up at 9:10 or 10, 11, 12. Who cares, right? And we tend to fail in keeping these agreements. That's why it's super important to show them the value of your time by first thanking them for theirs. Say something like, thank you so much for taking my calls and giving me these 5 minutes. Then say, I'll see you tomorrow at 6:45 sharp, as we just agreed. I'll be ready 10 minutes before the call, before the session, with all my materials prepared, ready to give you the best session and have those 45 minutes dedicated solely to you. You're thanking them for their time, but simultaneously confirming the commitment and creating what's known in sales as a moral obligation. If this person doesn't show up at 6:45, you can leverage this moral obligation by reaching out the next day, saying something like, hey friend, is everything okay? If you're all right, I'd like to know. I was waiting 10 minutes before our scheduled call, expecting to have those 45 minutes with you, and I noticed you couldn't make it. Did something come up? I'd like to know if you're genuinely interested, and if not, that's perfectly fine. As a mentor of mine says, we can still be friends. It's no big deal, really. The key is that by thanking them for their time, you're confirming their attendance for the next day or 2 days from now, ensuring they'll connect for that session, show up at that location, or receive that call, allowing you to have that window of time to share all the valuable information you need to convey. So recapping the steps, you've already introduced yourself straight to the point, and you introduce yourself, hello, I'm Alex, how are you? Often we call people we already know, so it's like, hello, I'm Alex, how are you? Good, very good. That's great, I'm doing well too. Hey, do you have time to talk? 2, you ask permission to speak. Yes, I have time to talk. Perfect. Now move on to point number 3. Hey, I'm starting a sales training program. I'm really excited and I want to be one of the best. I want to reach the highest level. And 4, align yourself with your company. I joined a company that I really liked because they're very focused on adding value, teaching people, and being able to share what's happening. In step 5, offer the business opportunity. In step 6, make the sales pitch. In step 7, make the sales pitch. In step 8, make the sales pitch. In step 3, make the sales pitch. In step 4, make the sales pitch. In step 5, make the sales pitch. And in step 6, make the sales pitch. And in step 8, make the sales pitch. And in step 5, make the sales pitch. And in step 6, make the sales pitch. And in step 8, make the sales pitch. And in step 5, make the sales pitch. And in step 6, make the sales pitch. And in step 8, make the sales pitch. And after that, wrap up by thanking them for their commitment, appreciating the time they've given you, and finish with confirming their attendance, either for the next day or for both days. Heads up, here's a tip for you.